Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And let me introduce myself. My name is Alessandro Panaro. I work at SRM, a center of study based in Naples, and linked to Intesa San Paolo Banking Group. I am the head of Maritime and Mediterranean Economy Research Area. You can see in this slide the homepage of our permanent observatory on maritime economy, an important research project that SRM started in 2014. My special thanks go to Mr. Francesco Saverio Lauro for his invitation to take part to this important seminar. Shipping and Law is an important annual meeting for all people who study the maritime sector and its impact on world economies. The following slides summarize the results of our research on the new Suez Canal, inaugurated on the 6th of August 2015. My speech will cover 4 topics. Firstly, I show you some indicators of Italian and Egyptian competitiveness in maritime and logistics sector. After that, we have a focus on the Suez Canal with the main numbers of traffic and features. Then an analysis on the routes of the mega ships and their economic impacts. Finally, some conclusion. Well, let's start. The Liner Shipping Connectivity Index of UNCTAD measures competitiveness in the maritime system based on the network and the quality of the container line services offered by port. Egypt in 2015 reached the 19th position out of 157 countries. Italy is in the 17th position and lost 3 positions in comparison with 2014. Germany is in the first place if we consider European countries. China holds the first position in the world. This slide shows a comparison between Italy and some of its main competitors in Mediterranean and the Northern Range area. We can see the significant growth of Morocco, thanks to the Tanger Med port, whereas Italy only made slight gains. Egypt shows the second best performance with an increase of 20 basis points on 2004. Italy LSCI growth has been slower, 10 basis points on 2004. In this slide, we analyze the logistics performance index of the World Bank. The LPI ranks 160 countries on 6 dimensions of trade, including custom performance, infrastructure, quality, and timeliness of shipments that have increasingly been recognized as important to development. This slide also shows the position in the world ranking of Italy and Egypt in comparison with some competitors in the field of maritime trade. Between 2007 and 2014, Egypt jumped 35 positions in the LPI ranking, reaching the 62nd place. As you can see, Italy holds the 20th position. In the first place, we can find Germany, which is the most efficient country in terms of logistic performance. Let's go to the second item of the agenda. This slide illustrates some statistics about the transiting goods through the Suez Canal. Transit goods account for 8–10% of the entire globe. In 2014, 822 million tons of goods passed through the canal. Between 2000 and 2014, north-south container trade volumes grew by 190%, while the south-north ones grew by 220%. 17,000 ships passed through the canal. Between 2000 and 2014, the canal's total traffic trends recorded an increase of 120% in transit goods. The graph shows the trend in ships number and cargo ton transiting the canal. In this slide, the traffic in the Suez Canal is analyzed by taking into account ship types. We see that container ships are the most common type of vessel that passes through the Suez Canal. Measured in number of ships, container ships constitute about 36% of all the vessels and transport 50% of the goods. As it is clear, the ships which will take a greater advantage from the new canal are container ships. As you can see, the traffic of a container was the most significant. This is the reason why the Suez Canal was made wider and deeper, to facilitate the transit of this kind of ship. During 2014, the cargo flows from the Med to the Middle Far East through Suez reached 460 million tons. From 2000 to 2014, they increased by 190%. The north towards south transit from the Suez Canal headed toward the Gulf increased by 340% in the span here analyzed. But also the route northwest Europe has increased considerably, so Suez has become a pivot in the world traffic. During 2014, the cargo flows from the Med to the Middle Far East through Suez reached 406 million tons. From 2000 to 2014, they increased by 220%. The south toward north transit from the Suez Canal headed toward the Gulf increased by 175% in the span here analyzed. Red Sea and Southeast Asia also show a significant growth. If we pay attention to the northbound traffic passed through the canal, the increasingly crucial role of the Arabian Gulf as origin of the shipments appears clear. As a matter of fact, in 2014, 34% of the shipments originated from this area, which was second only to Southeast Asia, where the shipments amounted to 160 million tons. And now, some significant statistics about the new Suez Canal. The building of the new canal allows a reduction in transit times of the intercontinental east-west connection between Asia, Middle East, Europe, and the east coast of the United States. An average reduction in travel times estimated at 12 hours per transit in both directions. The canal will increase its daily transit capacity to 97 ships from the previous average of 49. No limits to mega ships to pass through the canal. Along with the new canal, the Egyptian government developed the Suez Canal Corridor Area Project, an enormous investment plan aimed at making the canal region a center of economic development, thanks to the realization of a research center, industrial hubs, and logistics areas. These issues are particularly considerable for northern Italy gateway ports, which are the target of a large share of traffic from Suez. This, in fact, accounts for 51% of containers handled in Genoa and 47% of those which are in transit from the port of La Spezia. Let's go to the third item of the agenda. By looking at this slide, we can easily understand why the new canal, Suez Canal, is more competitive than the new Panama Canal, which will be open in April 2016. The biggest advantage of the new Suez Canal is that it has no limit in terms of ship size, whereas the maximum capacity of the new Panama Canal will be just 13,000 TEUs, thus making it impossible for megaships to pass through the canal. By looking at the order books of the main ship owners, we can notice a significant positive trend in both in number of megaships and their overall capacity. In particular, the most dramatic increase will take place in the biggest tonnage category, 18 to 21,000 TEUs, for which an increase of 77% will take place in 2018. These pie charts show the percentage market shares held by the biggest alliances on Asia Med and Asia North Europe, the two routes for which the Suez Canal proves more important. As it is clear, 2M, Maersk and MSC, holds the biggest share in both routes, whereas the second position, the Asia Med route, is occupied by Ocean 3, another alliance. In this slide, SRM make a comparison between Suez and Panama Canal with an analysis of 4 important routes: the Shanghai-Rotterdam, Hong Kong-New York, Shanghai-New York, and Shanghai-Houston. You see on the right the days of sailing. On the Hong Kong-New York route, absolutely one of the most important in the globe, we have only 1 day gap. The new Suez Canal, as I said, will reduce transit times by 6-7 hours, and we think that on this route it will be more competitive. In this slide, you can see some estimates of the economic impact of the new Suez Canal on the main routes. SRM has estimated that using the Suez route, any shipping company may have an average saving of 5–10% of total operating costs, depending on routes and distances. Operating costs include staffing, insurance, routine maintenance on board and in the yard, spare parts, lubricating oil, and administrative activities. To these items, it is necessary to also add the cost of fuel and amortizement of the ship. For example, every container ship can save approximately 12,000 euros. Overall average expected saving will be 180 million euros. In this slide, you can find the SRM analysis of the economic impact of the new Suez Canal on Italian ports container traffic. The focus is concerned with the Far East US East Coast route that involves 7.4 million TEUs approximately. SRM has estimated that after the enlargement, the new Suez Canal will be more convenient and will intercept 25% of the traffic that now passes through Panama, approximately 4 strings accounting to 1 million TEUs. Italy holds a market share of 18% of the transshipment traffic in the Mediterranean area, so may catch an additional 170,000 TEUs, an amount of goods equivalent to that handled by Ancona port or Taranto port last year. Finally, I'm going, Finally, I'm going to move on to some final remarks. The new Suez Canal will have a major impact on shipping and trade, representing an opportunity to be seized by trade business and shipping companies. As all this will increase the centrality of the Mediterranean, which already circulates 19% of world maritime trade. Total traffic increase in the 14-year span analyzed by more than 120%. In addition, major ports investment are being implemented in various Mediterranean ports. For example, Tanger Med, Piraeus, Algeciras. The circulating fleet is also likely to increase with the growing presence of megaships. In the future, an increasing number of TEUs transported by megaship are expected to pass through the canal. At the moment, 20,000 TEU ships are sailing on many routes of interest for Italy, as Asia Med, Asia Northern Europe, and Gulf Med. Megaships and investments of competitor ports must lead Italian ports to invest in infrastructure, technology, and logistics, to avoid losing market shares, and above all, to miss out the new opportunities that will arise from the new Suez Canal. These are our website addresses. In each website, you can find all our works, our working papers, and some news about SRM future conferences. Most of the documents are free to download. SRM's research on the new Suez Canal will be available on the internet at the end of October. We will present our annual report, Economic Relation between Italy and Mediterranean Area, the next 30th of October in Naples. You can also subscribe to our newsletter after registering for free. If you need any further information, feel free to send us an email. Thanks. Thank you.